I said, are you ready? Woo!
What's going on?
Morning, sir. How's it going?
I'm trying to recoup from all the driving.
Yep.
I'm still.
Yeah, that was a pretty substantial adventure we went on.
That was a big adventure on our favorite rocket ship.
You were an animal, though. I've literally in my life, I've never seen anyone drive. You drove legitimately 26 hours straight. I drove for what, an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then
hour and a half.
The whole thing. So. You trusted me one time, and then that was when we had our first malfunction. I really didn't even do anything, I don't think, but
no, I think it was those Indiana roads.
Yes, yeah, we learned that too. Our Indiana highways are quite bumpy.
Well, you know what? Ohio is a little rough too, because like the entire state's under construction. So
yes, yeah,
Pennsylvania wasn't bad.
The other one, I apologize. I'm trying to send a link over to. We have a guest joining us here in just a little bit, and the link did not work. So I was attempting to recopy the link and get this fixed, because obviously if I do not send that to, they're not going to be able to jump on. So yeah, somehow you were able to drive for solidly 26 hours at least, if not longer, in a day. And I'm not sure how that was humanly possible, but we did not fall asleep, and we made it 27 hours straight.
The best part was I had so many people messaging me the day we got back, and they're like, "What do you mean you left? Like, what did you do?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was our mystery trip."
Yeah, we went on a mystery trip. Well, I think you also sparked interest because we stopped in Springfield, Ohio, which
totally
is where all craziness was going on, and we didn't realize. Like I think that was the first one that you tagged that, kind of got people commenting, but I think that's why, because all the craziness is going on there, and we did not pay any attention to where we were at. We just stopped to get gas.
And dude, I'm oblivious to like everything anyway. I'm like, Springfield, huh? I was like, oh, that's Springfield, Illinois. I didn't know they were eating ass dogs in that town. I'm just like, yeah, we just got Wendy's like that. I just got my Wendy's and I moved on.
But we had a great lunch. We got to try some cat. It was great. They were very friendly. I'm just kidding. We did not stop. We really didn't see anything. It was very pleasant.
All that craziness is not on the interstate, so
nope, it was not where we were. So we were very oblivious, and
luckily whole drive we didn't see really nothing bad. It was just
it was super
highway
peaceful.
And mountains. No, yeah,
the mountains were beautiful. Like those big hills in like Virginia, Pennsylvania. When we were driving through and the sun was setting, it was like that pink orange color. It was so cool.
Yeah,
it was fun to watch on the way home. But then it got dark, and then I started falling asleep with my eyes open. So it did not go well.
The bad part about the mountains is when it gets dark, you don't see anything. Like,
no, it's creepy.
You can't even see. I had to hit the brake lights a little bit just to make sure our package was still on the trailer.
Then we talked about skinwalkers for most of the darkness, and then I was even more scared.
Well, we drove through Appalachia, and I'd seen the stuff on the TikToks about Appalachian skinwalkers and shapeshifters. So.
Yeah, we had a great conversation, but it was fun. We talked about a little bit of wrestling, which is, I love that we went straight into those tangents, and that's just how all of our stuff goes.
People were going to ask questions, but this is really the first time that a lot of people have seen us out in public.
Yeah. We haven't been live for a little bit since then.
Well, I've been in my hole, too.
Well, I was dead yesterday. I actually didn't feel – I got like 4 hours of sleep, and I got up. I went and did a workout and walked, so I didn't feel terrible. But then this morning I popped right back up and feel ready to go. So it wasn't super jet lag.
I went to sleep, woke up, drank a margarita, and then took another nap, and then
it doesn't sound like a bad time.
When I was up for the day. But
it definitely felt good to get like a good night's sleep last night. Like when I laid down in bed, I'm like, oh my God, it feels so good to just lay down.
I had to take the truck somewhere today. I was like, oh, it's like, it smells like farts in here.
Well, in all fairness, we lived in that thing for 27 hours. So like,
That's
I
true.
mean, we did really good though. We made very good time, except for the loading process. That took
those a-holes, they're like, we're not loading this. I'm like, well, I didn't have to turn this thing on. So they're gonna have to give me a quick demo.
No, you did. You loaded it right up there. You drove it around and then spun it around in circles like Austin Powers for 20 minutes trying to do a 90-point turn. That was quite
Then
awesome.
like it was closing time, and they just started all walking around, and we're still loading this up. I'm like, oh, apparently Pennsylvania people are just like, fuck you. Like that's
we're not waiting. I don't care what you want to do. You need to thank God, because like we were also not super sure we were going to make it there by 4:30.
We didn't know we were on a time crunch because it's like we were an hour and a half away. It's like you have about 2 hours. Oh,
it was a haul.
It was a haul. No.
Anyway, you want to let's jump into some wrestling. I want to go right into All Out.
Yes, let's go into All Out.
So wild pay-per-view or whatever. I guess theirs are still pay-per-view. They're not premium. They're going to go to Max eventually, and then there'll be a premium live event also, but it doesn't really matter. But they went like straight hardcore indie show. It was.
Well,
it was
I didn't.
cool, but
I just saw. I saw 3 clips. I saw Swerve Strickland getting power bombed on a cinder block, which
that was very different. I did like that one. Very, very different. I don't know that I've ever seen that in my watching wrestling career. So I do enjoy that they did that one, and that one was like, explainable and it looked cool. But proceed.
then I there might have been other weapons. I just once again if it doesn't come across like my face, I don't really pay attention. Yeah, there was a syringe. Is he getting stabbed with a needle?
Yes, in his mouth. It was disgusting. It was, again, very different, but like pretty wild.
Yeah. But then the other one happened to. Hang on, I gotta make sure I say his name right. Brian Danielson.
Yeah. Good job.
They performed suffocation. No breathing. Okay. Don't give up. If I cut my. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
Don't give a fuck if I murder someone in the ring and then he gets to come back alive. Like, I don't understand why they didn't have someone stop it. Like, they literally let him suffocate a man to the point where the crowd was chanting, "This is murder." It's like you're watching it going, why not have Bree jump it with like a heel on and at least just bludgeon Moxley in the head a couple times with it to get her almost like, hey, you're murdering my husband. Like, what the hell? Even if you don't want to set up a storyline with one of the wrestlers, like you could even utilize that of like, okay, there's a difference between wrestling and murder. Like, you're trying to kill my husband. What the fuck? Like, there's so many ways they could have, I feel like, made that like logical. But I feel like when you go to a point where the crowd's chanting, "This is murder," like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This is murder. Yeah, they're obviously doing
murder.
They're doing the red rum thing. So it was. I was just like, "Whoa!" But nobody stopped it, right? Like, it was just they just like let him lay there.
And it was like aggressively long. Like, I never did. I told you I was going to do research on it.
It's uncomfortably long. It's like.
Like he's dead now. Like, but then I feel like, again, you add more believability to Moxley legitimately trying to kill him if you have someone jump in and stop it. It could have been his wife. It could have been security. It doesn't matter. But as soon as they saw what he was doing, you send them out there, because then it goes long because it takes them to get out there. But then they're almost frantic getting in the ring to stop it and make it like to where it's believable that like, oh shit, Moxley was so pissed. Tried to murder the dude. Like, then you do the same thing. Like, you set it up to where then Moxley's arrested for attempted murder, and you set up this whole like thing where then Moxley's gone for a couple months, and it like however they do it. But you could like create storylines off of that if you want to go that way and make it to where people kind of have that suspense of disbelief where it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is all part of it, but like he just tried to suffocate him with a plastic bag. That was crazy.
That's aggressive, but I don't know. But that was All Out was. It was, and I don't watch AEW too closely, but I saw that and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on?" Apparently, I need to like watch a little more because it's like life crime. But do you want to bring our guest on?
I also think that you have to do that when. Well, I feel like. Can you hear me?
Huh?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me though? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Can you hear me? I feel like our connection got a little wonky there.
Connection got a little wonky. What?
All right.
What?
Well, we have Herman Professor Bear from the WrestlingSociety.com joining us today. How's it going, sir?
It's going good. How are y'all doing?
Good. I'm doing
We're
great.
doing great.
So, what's the good word today?
We're kind of meeting you for the first time here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The word today is love.
That's
And
right.
it's kind of funny considering that I was just talking about suffocating a man. But,
Yeah, Moxley
that's how it
loves
goes.
suffocating Danielson.
But let me give you some facts on that, because I was sitting and listening to y'all, and a lot of people who talk about that spot don't either realize that is an old spot.
Really?
Yes. Terry Funk did that to Ric Flair in 1989, I believe.
Oh.
And it set off their feud, and it helped Flair become a face, believe it or not.
I can believe that.
Imagine. Yeah. Usually suffocation. Did they do it in a different way though, where they did have someone come out and stop it? Because I do feel like when AEW did it, it was so aggressively long, like he would have either passed out or he would have, like, that's why the crowd, I feel like, started chanting, "This is murder." It's like, oh, that was aggressively long. Like, just have someone come out and stop it and you get the same reaction, but it's almost like a little more believable that Moxley was pissed and tried to murder the guy. If you got Bree out there with a heel smacking him or whatever it is that they use to stop that, but then I feel like you let that suspense of disbelief continue to play out if you stop it.
Yeah, they had security run in and grab Funk and break it up, and like you said, it would have been a little better, but at this time, I mean, we all know what wrestling is, so you know, for me, when I saw it, I immediately enjoyed it. I was like, yes, it's something different. It's cool. And then even the same way with the Swerve and Hangman match with the needle, I thought it was different, and I kind of enjoyed it. Now, again, me going back to, I've been watching wrestling all my life, so damn near 45 years. So I've seen a hell of a lot worse. And wrestling, the one thing people don't really understand, wrestling repeats itself. You can only do so many different things in wrestling. So, you know, again, and I guess I'm an AEW guy. I like the way they move a little more than WWE. Not saying that I don't like WWE, but the biggest thing with in the end, enjoy wrestling. Hell, we have so many different promotions, different wrestling. If you don't like that, don't watch it.
Absolutely. There's so much out there now, and that's what it's fun. And I think that, like, that storytelling aspect is super important though. Like, I love both, but I think that's where AEW goes a little harder into the hardcore stuff, because they don't go as hard into the storytelling aspect, where I feel like WWE does the opposite. They go almost too hard into the story, where it almost becomes overboard, where you're seeing the same stuff every week over and over. They're almost trying to recreate that bloodline aspect of this with every story now, but I don't think all of them have the legs to be the bloodline stories. They almost overdo it to where I wish they'd all kind of meet in the middle. Find that fun storytelling, give everybody a purpose and a reason, have fun with it, use real life animosity and blur that line, because the more they go into those things, everybody has real life situations and stories. You just sit back and ask the wrestlers questions. Hey, what's happened in your life that's developed you to where you are now? And you come up with these real storylines that really develop them as a character, because you're using their real life, either past traumas or relationships or things that they've learned or wrestlers they really don't like. And you kind of create that real life drama in a safe atmosphere, but you're creating these really cool stories with the badass wrestling all at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. There, with one of the biggest things that I've found, where for me as a wrestling fan, that I have to get over and ignore is backstage. We have too much access to backstage.
Yep.
We as wrestling fans and smart marks, we know so much more than the wrestlers, and we know how to book a feud, and we know everything. But if we didn't have the access to backstage, and they would be more of kayfabing, it would be so much exciting. One of the biggest things I tell anybody, when you fool us, and when I say us, I mean us journalists, or because I'm not a journalist, but us marks, when you fool us, we enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
We're pop.
It's fun.
Exactly. Even if we don't like it, we still enjoy the fact that they fooled us and went a totally different way.
Exactly.
Well, that's kind of what makes you fall in love with wrestling. You get that, like, that giddy little, like, it brings out that inner child where you kind of get that, like, oh, this is awesome. Like during the rumbles, those are always some of the more fun pops when you have a guy who's not been around forever that you remember as like this childhood guy, and that music hits and the crowd goes ape shit. Or when Undertaker's bells, like, obviously that lost its effect over time, and the more he's gone, it will gain that effect again. But these guys like The Rock, whenever he came back for the first time, all of these guys get that monster pop. If you would have heard the glass shatter instead of the Taker's bells at WrestleMania, then I think that was the original plan, that place would have absolutely erupted. But I think that's because you fall in love with these characters and you get the stories where you feel that realism, where those guys were legitimately going out there to beat the shit out of each other because they were competing for those spots. The more it becomes this social media aspect, you lose that, where like you have the Wyatt Six, where they're these supernatural characters, but then some of them get on Twitter or they post pictures at a Denny's, and it's like, okay, like I get it, like you're not really supernatural, but like for the sake of the show, you could do some really cool stuff with this character if you guys just believe that character and play that character throughout this. You gain that storytelling.
Exactly. But then we put them in the position, we want to know their true stories, and oh man, that your brother's with such and such, and this. So it's definitely a fine line now with it. And my thing is, again, just enjoy it for what it is and be appreciative. Too many people are not appreciative of what we have now. Again, growing up in the 80s, where we only had a few different choices. And back in the territorial days, if you didn't have cable, you were lucky to have one regional wrestling. Or maybe two. But if you had cable, you would look out and get about 4 or 5 different ones you could watch. And for me, I think in today's climate, we have returned back to the territorial days, but it's so much better because we have social media. We have YouTube where you can watch. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, so I can watch stuff in California or over in Japan or wherever. So I think that's where we need to be very appreciative of this, because it could go away in a heartbeat. Absolutely. Don't realize that.
Absolutely. And that's what I feel like. It's cool now that we're seeing the big leagues, as I call them. You're seeing those crossovers with TNA and NXT. It's almost like, ooh, we're having a little territorial little feud here. But then NWA is legit bringing back the territory system, but they show up everywhere. And then even down in the independents, they'll come down. You see NWA stars dropping down, TNA stars dropping down. It's like, oh, it's like a big melting pot of action here, and it's really fun. And that's where I hope the air quote big ones start doing it as well.
Well,
yeah, because
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead.
WWE is doing it now with different companies, which is great. AEW's been doing it off from day one. So we just want the big leagues to get together and do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, because if AEW jumps on board, you have wrestling basically. We've talked about this a couple times. You have wrestling basically every night of the week, and it becomes all must-see television. Because if you have MJF show up on Raw one night and confront Cody, or the Bucks show up on Raw, like, you immediately create that buzz where then everyone's watching everything. Cause it's like, oh, they're all together now. This is going to be wild. But you don't do what they did with WCW back in the day. You slow roll it. And you do ones and twos here and there, and you make it just like they're doing with TNA now or New Japan, where you get these crossover events. But I mean, man, like War Games, Survivor Series, those type pay-per-views would be so cool if they could all just get on the same page, and it just raises wrestling as a whole, because then you want to watch every show. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Exactly. Man, and I'm gonna use that as a segue to talk about what we do at the Wrestling Society Network. We love wrestling. We love all types of wrestling. We have a Facebook page, which earlier this week we just hit 3,000 members. And the thing we do, we talk wrestling, we promote wrestling. We don't care if if your promotion has 3 people to the big WWE, promote it. We love wrestling, and we love to give that knowledge of wrestling anywhere, anytime, and just it is fun.
Yes.
So we try to help be that crossover with wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think I read online you guys have like an app that's available on Roku and Fire TV and
Apple TV and let's see, you said Roku, Amazon, and we do. It is and the app is free.
Off
the bat, it's free. So you don't have any excuse. Oh, well, I don't have. Man, come over and look at our app. Our app is amazing, even if I had to say so myself. And not to knock anybody else's app, but we give you variety. How many wrestling sites that you know will show you wrestling cartoons?
What?
Yes,
that's
cartoon.
Awesome.
What's the name of your wrestling app? So we just for the listeners.
The name of the wrestling app is WSN.
Okay.
So you can look it up and you will find us. And we, like I said, we got a 2K promotion. That's something that we're really proud of. We were just talking about promotions, and we think we know this and that. Well, we do our own 2K promotion, and it is amazing. We have when we first started out, we got some of our fans as wrestlers. Yep. Then we decided to grow, and we got some independent wrestlers on our games. We are just blowing up. And
that's awesome.
And what happened when we started it on YouTube. And we started, we really didn't have any big goals. We just wanted to have fun. Mm-hmm. And when we hit 100 views, we were amazed. Then we hit 1,000 views. It's like, what the world? Then we noticed we were going all over the world. And it's like, you're shitting us. Okay, who's playing? Who's joking? You know, it's like somebody's joking. And
That's
I'm
so cool.
a big analytics guy. So I'm always looking. I'm like, ain't no way in the hell we are doing people in Russia are watching us.
That's awesome.
And we in India. So our biggest pay-per-view did 20,000 views.
Wow.
And it's us having fun and running a wrestling promotion the way we think it should be run. So we have all those. We have our weekly shows and the pay-per-view. So that's on it. There is also an action figure promotion. It is unbelievable. Now, again, I'm loading it up, and I was like, okay, let me check it out so when I talk about the app, I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, I give it 15 minutes, then I go on do whatever I want to do, or I have to do rather. An hour and a half later, I had to stop myself from watching it. I got so immersed in it
that's awesome.
It feels so real, and the guys who do it are amazing. You don't see strings, hands, or nothing. It's just they walk, they fight. And the commentary, I'm telling you, it is so amazing.
Wow, that sounds like so much fun. So,
then, of course, go ahead.
Who's your top wrestlers in your federation?
We have Douglas McCrae, who is our world champion, and oh goodness, let me think. Rusty is undefeated, going on 2 years now.
Wow.
Miguel X, he's undefeated, and oh God, if I start trying to name off people, I know I'm gonna forget, so I'm gonna stop right there.
Perfect.
And plus, we will be coming out with merch for it. So we working on that. Also, we all love movies, but we have movies starring wrestlers. Yes, all the different ones with The Rock. Well, do we have The Rock? I think we got one with The Rock. He's hard, to get. We got Stone Cold. We got a bunch of WWE movies starring the wrestlers and stuff. So if you want to watch a good wrestling movie, we got that. We have collectibles. If you're a collectible guy or girl, let me not just try to be sexist. If you're a collectible person, we have different collectible shows on there. If you're a podcast person, we have so many different podcasts that you could check out. Man, I could go on and on. As you can see behind me, you see video games.
Yep.
We got video game reviews of wrestling games. So we trying to hit anything and everything that is wrestling is going to be on our channel. And just for those people who are that crossover with wrestling and MMA, we have some MMA action on there also.
Okay.
You guys do a little bit of everything then.
Yeah, we definitely try. We are about wrestling, and we enjoy to put anything out there and have fun with it.
That's the great way to do it.
Now, I'm sitting, and while we're talking, I noticed something. I noticed the WrestlingSociety.com. That is actually our website. And on our website, we do have the website. And one thing about that website, again, we're about wrestling. and we love independent wrestling because they do not get a lot of shine and no. So what we did, we came up with two things. We came up with the independent wrestler of the week.
Okay.
We want to give shine and credibility to all those wrestlers out there who bust their ass, don't get any pub. Well, this is our way of thanking you. And the fans, you can vote for them. You just go on the site, there's a little vote. You click there and you tell who you want and where we can find them. And you never know who we're going to come up with as the wrestler of the week.
So what you're saying is we could run a thing to get our Diner Podcast champion Ashton Adonis as the independent wrestler of the week.
Yes, you can. Go vote.
Good to know.
Yes.
Now, we talking about indie and the people that are heroes that don't get any credit. Man, what about all the different referees who bust their ass?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about the managers, the valets, the announcers for shows? Well, guess what? We have something for them too. The indie personality of the week. If you're any of those things, you can vote and have them recognized also.
Wow.
What about commentators of the week? We could do another thing and get us voted, Evan.
Well, guess what, guys? I got something for you too. Again, it's not about us, it's about the wrestling world. And we do not mind sharing and giving people the love and what we think is to help, because for us, man, wrestling is a community. We don't have any hate. So what we came up with is the podcast room. And in the podcast room, we list different podcast groups where we, for whatever reason, maybe we just love to hear y'all podcast, or for whatever reason, we have a podcast room. And what it is, you'll have your logo there. People can click on it and it will take them directly to your site.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
And we don't charge. We're not trying to get, it's just love.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great.
Absolutely.
And guess what? The next update, y'all be on there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
Sir. That's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like I said, we love wrestling, and what we truly are fans. And we just came up with this thought process of doing different things. And when I say us, I always never one time do I get on any podcast without mentioning the other co-CEO, Brady Owens. This is his dream and his creation. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now. And we have a great team, and we just love to do this. And we just want to make it bigger. And again, share, because man, if y'all get bigger, hopefully we get bigger.
Absolutely.
And just have so much fun with this.
Like high tides raise all ships, you know what I mean?
Man,
I love to throw that to you. You say that all the time. It really does. And we take the same approach to everything we do with it. Like, we try not to get super negative, and we try to just be fans and have fun with it. We do the same with our commentary. We just react to what's in front of us. It's not about us. It's about us describing what's going on in the ring, telling the story, but also having fun and reacting, because then it makes the people watching it have fun and react with it. Or at least that's what I hope. Like, you see those clips of like when a big knockout happens and Rogan loses his mind with everybody. Like, those things go nuts because people appreciate that real reaction to it. And like, that's just what we do. We sit there and watch what's going on, and we just ramp it up to 10 and react like crazy to all the cool stuff that they're doing, because they really are. Like, a lot of these guys aren't getting paid a lot of money, and they're putting their bodies on lives on the line and putting on these badass awesome shows, and that's how they should get reacted on. It shouldn't be this monotone and he punches him in the face. Like, it loses that like fun.
Jared, we can't be monotone people because, oh my God, he just punched him in the face. Oh!
Like, I'll be honest, watching Raw on Monday, is it Joe Tessitore? I felt like I was watching a soccer game with him and Wade Barrett. Like, I legitimately felt like I was watching soccer.
The first thing last week when I first saw him, the first thing I thought, I was like, okay, I give him 3 months before they fire him.
At one point, I can't remember the exact thing he said, but like something crazy happened, and he was like, oh, and he hit him in the face with a chair. And it was like, oh, that's not the reaction that they want there. Like, you gotta get loud there, man.
I think in Joe's defense, don't quote me because I don't know, but I think he said, he goes, yeah, it wasn't that good of a debut. Like, he knew. He was like, okay, I gotta get better. Yeah. But he's used to calling the sports where they have to talk.
You go from Pat McAfee heating on the desk to this guy that sounds like we're watching a soccer bout or a golf match. It's like, well, that's a drastic change in approach. Like, we went from this fun, like, bubbly commentary to now it's this serious, stern tone, and we're talking the news. And it's like, well, that's not. I don't think that's what they're going for.
When you can make Wade Barrett over as my favorite announcer, and don't get me wrong, I do love Wade Barrett, but just you can sell him that well, like, he 3 months. 3 months. I'm giving them 3 months.
Sportscasting and wrestling announcing is not the same thing.
Exactly.
It's not the same reaction. Like, you have to be a wrestling fan, I feel like. You have to want to watch it and enjoy it and react to it. And like, when we're doing commentary, like, I zone out, like, we're just at a wrestling show watching it and I'm just talking the whole time. And that's just kind of the mindset I take to it. And then he's so good at the analytical portion and has all the spreadsheets and the notes, and we're getting the wrestler stories beforehand, and all of those things combined, we just have fun with it. And then any dead space, he fills it with those meticulous notes and the records and all these different things that it tells that story in indie wrestling, because like you just said, these guys don't get that, like that storytelling aspect. Or we'll try to have the wrestlers on our shows and let them come talk and hang out with us and tell their story, because then you keep people invested in it. It's not just guy A versus guy B. Go out there and be a good guy and bad guy and good luck. Because a lot of these people don't follow along. They're just, oh, cool, wrestling show, let's go check it out. But if you keep them invested, especially in a small community, you keep that ongoing where people want to come back because they're invested in the story a little bit. And I feel like in that world, a little bit goes a long way.
Yes, it does. And it's funny, my wife, I've never taken her to a WWE show, and I keep promising her, yeah, every time it comes here in Knoxville, something comes up and we don't get a chance to go. And we went to a few different indie shows. She loves them. Mm-hmm. She loves the interaction and everything. And I'm like, babe, that's great, but it's not going to be the same when we go to WWE. I'm telling you. And
she'll be disappointed when she goes to WWE.
Yeah, she definitely loves indie wrestling in person versus when we go to WWE, and it's coming soon. So,
and that's why, like, when we do this show, it's we have a segment for the independents, because I want people to go. Like, if you've never been to a wrestling show, go to one of these, because that's the most fun you'll have at a wrestling event. Not saying WWE won't be fun, but they're going to talk to you. They're going to interact with you. You can buy their gear. I remember, so my very first time ever going to a wrestling show, I went to Monday Night Raw in Indianapolis. It was when DX did the press conference. I was 8 years old, and myself goes, I want to go meet the Legion of Doom. I want to go get an autograph. Yeah, that don't work that way here, bud. Sorry. So it's like, come to these, and that happens. You get to meet these people, and one day they might be on the big time. You'll be like, I met that guy at the Clay County Fairgrounds. I got his autograph up on my wall. I got a picture with him up on my wall. And it's like they're there. They're in person. They're like it's a way different atmosphere, and I love it.
The first time I took my wife to a wrestling show, we were just starting out with our with the wrestling society. At the time, we were just a podcast. So I had my shirt on, and we walked in, and we were early, and they were selling different merch and stuff. And I saw Brian Pillman Jr., and I was like, "Oh man, I got to go talk to him." And before I did, I saw Kenzie Page, and I walked up to her and got to talking. I was like, "Yeah, we starting our podcast." Showed her my shirt. She's like, "Oh," she's like, "If you want, I'll cut you a promo." I'm like, "Well, hell yeah!" So we walked outside. And
that's awesome.
And she was at the time was NWA World Tag Team Champ. So she had the belt and she cut the promo. I was like, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. That's so cool.
So, and I was like, oh man, she gave me a signed picture. I'm like, hell yeah. So
yeah, you're like,
so then one of the wrestlers, they were wrestling, and we were in the front row. One of the wrestlers got thrown over the barricade right beside me. So he's going to do a spot where he jumped off the barricade and hit the guy. He went to jump. He slipped, stepped on my foot, fell down, jumped back up, and flung and did a spot. And I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, you know, if I just didn't know any better, I probably would have punched that kid right in his damn face. So after the match and they had the intermission, he was walking around. I said, "Hey," I said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm not, because you stepped on my damn foot." And he's like, and of course, he's like, "Oh," I was like, "Man, I'm just playing. You did step. I was just gonna give you a hard time."
Yeah,
it is. It's a whole different atmosphere. You get to be kind of a part of it. Like, you get to be way more of a part of it than you do at the big shows. And you do, like, I have way more fun watching those guys perform than I do watching Raw or AEW a lot of times, where I'm way more invested in those shows. Obviously, for like obvious reasons, I don't have a phone in my hand. I'm like legitimately paying attention because I have to talk the whole time. So you have that aspect as well, but you really do like really get into it. I watch these kids get super fired up with the way these guys are performing, and it makes it a super fun atmosphere.
So the last one we went to happened. Kenzie Page was at this one, and now she's the NWA Women's World Champion single. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go up and see if she remembers me. I stand in line, get up there. I said, "Hey," and I was like, before I could say remember me, she was like, "I know you." I said, "Yeah, you remember we did?" And she's like, "Oh my God." And she's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing great." And I said, "Congratulations on being the champ." I said, you dump your partner and you didn't need her, you the world women champ. And I said, "You're not the only one blowing up." I said, "Now we got a app and different things." She's like, "Amazing." She's like, "Oh, that means I got to cut another promo for you, don't it?" Yeah. And she did. She cut me another promo, and I was like, "Oh my God." I said, "You are just one of the sweetest people in the world. And I really, really appreciate you. And thank you for remembering, just being willing to do that."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Oh, yes, yeah. I have a history question for you.
Yes,
how
sir.
How long has your network been going? When did you start it?
We started late March.
Okay. Wow, you're pretty fast.
Yeah, and
very quick.
And we are we have so much material that we're slowly updating stuff. Like, matter of fact, right now as we speak, I'm updating, putting some new content on there.
Cool.
So we trying to not oversaturate. Do take time, and also we have some independent promotions that we work with, that we have their stuff on our app.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we definitely are, just like I said, giving shine. Maybe you'll look at it and start like, man, I really like this promotion, and we can just keep adding on. And on our website, we have a link where you can go to their to their to their YouTube page, where you can watch their stuff on their YouTube page if you ran through what we have on the app already.
Oh, that's great. So how would a company go about like getting with you to see if they could get their stuff on your site or on your app?
Reaching out to me or to my co-CEO partner, Brady Owens. And both of us are listed on Facebook. Any wrestling business, look under Professor Burr Society.
Okay.
And Brady Owens is Brady Owens.
Okay.
And one, oh man, I hate that when I had a thought and just went up my.
It happens all the time.
Now I remember. Are y'all part of our the Wrestling Network Society on Facebook?
I think I joined a couple weeks ago. I think so.
Okay.
I think I've been putting this show on there.
Yes. Remember, promote your stuff. Don't care what it is, promote it. We encourage it.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Well, do you want to promote one more time where everybody can find you and like how they can get on all your stuff?
Oh yeah. If you go on Facebook, you can look under the Wrestling Society Network, and feel free to join that page. If you're anything that has to do with wrestling, join it and promote yourself, promote your stuff. We encourage it. If you want to look at our free, again, let me say those magic words, free app on Roku, on Amazon, on Apple TV, on Fire Stick, go and look under WSN, and you can do that. And if you want to go and check out our website, it is thewrestlingsociety.com. And remember, there you can show love to your independent wrestling promotion. Vote for the wrestler of the week. Every Wednesday. There is going to be a new one. It starts on Wednesday. So make sure you vote, and vote for your favorite personality of the week. It could be a referee. It could be a valet, a manager, a ring announcer, commentary team. But please do that, because they are the unsung heroes of what we love for this sport. I say sport. I didn't say entertainment, sports entertainment, because to me it's a sport and it always will be. So, and as I always love to close out, without you, the fans, there would be no me. So I thank you and humbly appreciate you.
Well, thank you for coming on and joining with us, talking. That was a lot of fun.
Man, I appreciate y'all.
We look forward to continue to interact, and obviously, hopefully we'll get on there. And if you heard that, go vote for Ashton Adonis. So next Wednesday, he will be the independent wrestler of the week. Minor podcast champion could be the independent wrestler of the week, and should be the independent wrestler of the week.
We paid good money. You actually might see him down there this weekend, because some jerk paid for a vacation down there for him.
I may have sent him to Tennessee on vacation for winning our title. They gave our last champion a shirt, and I didn't like him very much. So I thought our new champion deserved to have a full-fledged vacation, and now I'm in trouble. I'm not allowed to use the credit card anymore. So You make mistakes and you learn from them, but I thought it was good, and I felt like we should treat our champion with respect.
Yeah. Well, hope he enjoys it.
Well, thank you, sir, for joining us. We appreciate your time and absolutely look forward to working with you in the future.
Definitely. Thank y'all again.
Well, thank you. Have a nice rest of your day.
You too.
That was awesome.
That was fun. We learned all kinds of things. And we
Oh,
learned that our
absolutely.
champion could be the independent wrestler of the week, and we could be personalities of the week.
That's right.
It sounds like
Absolutely.
people should go vote.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
well,
put up a banner of a comment. I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
Look at that. We learned lessons today. All right, cool.
That's right.
Oh, it's still. Why can I not take it off now? Hide. There we go. Okay. What? Okay, now we're just putting up all the
that's because
comments.
it's me clicking on it.
Oh, stop it, you asshole. Damn you. I was like, why will it not go away?
I'm just sitting there like, click, click. So, yeah.
I forgot you have the same capabilities now, and you can run the board from your end.
I shouldn't have said anything. You just kept doing it.
Yeah, because I thought my mouse was fucked up. I was like, oh no, I broke the mouse. This is not good. I'm like, it keeps arbitrarily clicking this, and I'm not doing it.
Oh. Well, real quick, we've got some independent. We'll skip the rest of the majors there. They get paid millions of dollars.
Yeah, they're good. They get enough promotion with their millions and millions of dollars, so it'll be fine. Let's promote the fun ones.
The Diner Podcast champion Ashton Adonis was in action last Sunday at Wrestle With This Showcase 62. He defeated Sage Phillips. So congratulations, Ashton. He was actually debuting some new gear. So, and then
I like that poor Sage. He just keeps beating for our title, and then again
they called him the Technician Magician. I like that nickname.
Ooh,
yeah.
I enjoy
and then RCW Fall Brawl. Sam Knight defeated Shaq Jordan.
Oh,
yeah,
he did.
He did.
That's surprising.
Got that.
Is he still ticking?
Yeah, he's still ticking. I just talked to him this morning. He can't wait for Fall Fury.
Why are you still talking to him? Let him go.
He's my friend.
It's like an ex. You can't just keep going back.
What is that? I'm hearing it twice. I'm hearing it in my house and on your computer. We're under attack. That was crazy.
Holy shit, that was terrifying.
I ducked for cover.
He just did like a barrel roll over my house.
I thought it was thunder.
No, it was a big ass fighter jet. He just did like a barrel roll over my
Well,
house.
do you know it's ironic? You were talking about the right hand of God, and that flew over. God was striking you down.
Yikes! Dude, I'm not lying. That was like legitimately scary. It like started rumbling, and I looked up, and he was like right over my house. That was crazy.
I also,
all right.
I did find out about our Diner Podcast champion.
He's awesome.
At September 21st at All Vermillion Wrestling, 21 over the top, Ashton Adonis was named as one of the entrants to the Rumble.
Oh, sweet.
There's been some new entrances. I have them pulled up here. Chris Gates, Zach Nova, Stetson Ace Winners, T.Y. Ice, Jared Savage, that creepy guy, and Carter Kaufman have been added to the Rumble.
Oh.
But then they've got some matches announced. Limbo takes on Clayton Clark. Cameron Cross versus Cecil Cerveza. Excalibur versus Da Cobra. And then the AVW Heavyweight Championship, Jimmy Carrot versus Zay Gates. It was also announced Jake Oman will be making his debut. Mr. International will be making his debut. And then Exit 210 champion Jackson Morgan will be in action as well. So,
well, sweet. And that is in Oakwood, Illinois at Exit 210 Saloon on September 21st.
And then the very next day, White River Wrestling in Lapel, Pax Verum Brewing Company. They have 7 big announcements. I got to move my mouse because I just about removed myself from the stage.
You want me to put them up one by one, and then that way I can stay right along with you. So we're going to start with, obviously, the most important one.
Ashton Adonis takes on the veteran Jack Vaughn.
That'll be a hell of a match.
That would be a great match. Then there's a tag match, Twist and Flip versus Carter Kaufman and Elijah Eros.
Sorry, they are drastically out of order. Now I have to go search for them.
Logan Myers takes on the Diamond Cut Ace Perry. That'll be a good match. It's going to be a very good match, actually.
That'll be a very fast match. Those boys can move.
The WRW Championship. Champion Jake Oman takes on Aaron Williams. That'll be a good one.
Another good. That'll be a good show.
It's going to be a great show.
And that is at Pax Vernum Brewing Company.
Yeah, there's been some new matches announced too.
I don't believe I have those. There is another jet getting ready to fly over.
We're under attack.
I don't like it.
Yeah, they also have added Isaiah Moore versus Dalton McKenzie.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
Damie Ho versus Savion Truitt.
Ooh,
and then
I met that guy.
You met that guy. He thought you were his best friend.
We were best friends for a solid hour, I believe, if not a couple hours, and then he finally realized that I was not his friend.
Then he realized it was not your friend, and it could have gone bad, but it didn't. Anyway,
I told you I need a shirt that was not Jay West if we go to that show. That way he does not get confused.
And then the last match announced, Book Hemingway takes on Lord Crew. And then September 28th, Singleton Wrestling, Fall Fury. We have 6 matches announced. We have Leela Feist takes on Carter Kaufman. Elijah Eros versus Austin Ryan. Hijo del Appalachia versus Book Hemingway.
Oh, we have a luchador.
Yes.
Luchadors have been coming around in full force the last couple shows.
They have been. Aaron Atlas versus Logan Myers.
That'll be a hell of a match.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Sam Knight versus Dylan Cole. Should have been Sam Knight versus Ashton Adonis, but it is what it is. And then the main event, the STW heavyweight champion, Jake Oman, will take on the last professional wrestler, Jack Vaughn.
Interesting. I'll be honest.
You don't know anything about Jack Vaughn? Get on his TikTok. It's awesome.
He's hilarious.
Fly slap.
Yeah. The veteran or the Emperor better be very careful. We may have the veteran taking over the Emperor's spot and new champion. So we shall see.
I'm guessing Mr. H did not like the Emperor comment, and you might be the Emperor, but I'm the boss.
Yeah.
And booked one of Jake Oman's very good friends, which that could lead to some controversy. Friendship maybe.
And possibly one of his toughest opponents he's ever had in Signal 10.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. They both have released some videos talking about that. Jake Oman, he had a lot to say about Jack Vaughn, but then he also mentioned Logan Myers. So it's like, don't take your eye off Jack Vaughn to focus on Logan Myers. Like, I wouldn't do it. So,
but is Logan in his head too much, and we may have a new champion, and then Logan will maybe have a new focus, or he just hates Jake that much that he'll just continue to go. I mean, I feel that because I feel the same way about a certain fella.
Well, we'll see. Anyway,
10 men.
And then 10 men. Yeah.
What? I told you we should have, instead of getting you a shirt, you should have sent him to Oz.
No, dude, the Wicked Witch is scary. I'm good on that.
But the Wizard could have gotten him a new heart. Fixed it.
No. Then October 25th, Pumpkin Smash Monster Bash at Max and Honey's Signal 10 Wrestling. The wrestlers will be in action Friday night. It might be a spooky event. You could see Book Hemingway, Clayton Clark, Ashton Adonis, Jake Oman, Logan Myers, and Elijah Eros in action. And then the very next day, Hybrid Championship Wrestling, Fight or Fright. I believe that's at Strive.
Yes, it is.
That's at Strive? Okay. That'll be another Halloween event. It may not be. I'm just guessing based on title.
Right around that time, though, so there could be some spooky antics. Well, it's called Fight or Fright, and there is a pumpkin themed in the other one. So I would assume that there will be some spooky antics.
Yeah. But
maybe the commentators will have a costume.
Maybe we'll come as secret agents.
The Men in Black.
The Men in Black. Here come Men in Black.
Pretty much what we go for every one of them. So we just have to walk out with sunglasses and the little whatever those things were called that makes people forget shit.
It's like an ink pen.
I think now they just use social media and they just flood it and make people forget what the fuck's going on. So that's the new eraser. They don't even have to zap you anymore. They just go with that.
It's not as fun though.
No,
it'd
be way
3,000 posts on Twitter or an ink pen.
Yeah, they just flood it with a bunch of bullshit and make you forget about all the craziness that's going on. I know I need to take the graphic down.
I'm trying to talk around
Well, I wasn't sure if we were still talking about it or not. So then I was like, well, we'll just leave it up while we're talking. But
I do like doing these in sunglasses because I've been looking at the screen the whole time, like an actual conversation, instead of the camera. Because if I look at you, I'm looking down. If I look at the camera, I'm not looking at you. So it's easier to wear sunglasses. I know this is inside baseball, but
I totally get it. Because I like running the board and putting the pictures up. I can look at the screen, but I can like have my eyes on my board so I can move up and down and click and watch at the same time, but I'm not like Hawkeyeing the board the whole time. It makes it much easier. We're showing people how to produce a video also all at the same time.
But at this time, we need to thank our gold sponsors. They let us do what we do.
And I have a new one.
Oh, thank you, gold sponsors. Wabash Valley Plumbing. They lay pipe. Yes, that is a poop pipe.
They lay pipe like those.
U.S. Lawns of Terre Haute. They mow grass.
And do cool landscaping.
Yes, they do. ML Productions. They make movies, but not those movies.
And they do commercial and other media things.
Blue Anchor Roofing and Restoration. They fix stuff like roofs. Wabash Valley Adult Teen Challenge. Meeting you at the crossroads of recovery. Of addiction. Sorry, I butchered that one. RJ's Formal Wear. Check out those suits.
They give us our Men in Black suits.
That's right. Peak Performance Gym. No peak, no results. And Dalton Roar. Jordan's a goat.
Where you can find all your Jordan memorabilia.
Stitched Embroidery and Apparel. They embroider stuff. And Pappy's Barbecue. Meet, eat, repeat. Meet, eat, repeat. Thank you, gold sponsors. And I'm just going to fair warn you, there's another plane flying your way.
Yep, I can hear it.
Yeah. So we better.
It's not as loud as the other ones, but that one that went right over my house, he really did do like a barrel roll right over my house. It was kind of crazy. He went like damn near upside down.
It scared me, and I'm inside.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was. He was super low. Are they doing like training or something over there? Because we're not too far from one of the bases, are we?
No, I don't know what they're doing. I'm not in the military.
Huh. Yeah, fair point. I don't know why I was asking you. Like you had like, oh yeah, I got my orders today. We're doing this.
I'm sure if they would tell me, they wouldn't want me telling you on this. So
yeah, if they wanted us to know, they probably would have let us know.
Yeah, exactly. So
fair point. Makes way more sense.
Yes. So, but with that is this edition of the Powerslam Platter. I about said the Perform Platter, but I'm dumb. I'm still not having enough sleep. I've got to catch up.
Performance Platter.
The Peak Performance Platter Slam Platter.
Sweat and protein.
Sweat, balls, and protein. Yeah. But with that, we are out of here.
See you next Friday.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.